Welcome to MissouriNet.com. It's time for our weekly visit with Jason West, the Communications Director for MSHSAA, which is Missouri State High School Activities Association. So it's not just sports, it's activities. And there was a busy weekend down in Springfield on the campus of Missouri State. It was the speech and debate competition. Jason, how did it go? First year at Missouri State.
Right. This is the first year that this competition has been held off of the Mizzou campus in Columbia and off-site, if you will. But Missouri State did just a wonderful job. A lot of kudos need to go out to Dr. Eric Morris and his staff of volunteers and students that are involved in his program, just to have people there to help as runners and get things done, and coordinators and things like that. Big help and big thanks to the Missouri State University and their staff of hosting the event. It went very well. This is the first of 3 weekends here that we have our activities showcased with the speech, debate, and theater. And so we had schools from all over the state. I believe we had 126 schools represented this year just for the speech, debate, and theater.
Now, are they all divided in different classes, or is it all lumped together? And how does it work?
Speech, debate, theater is actually one class, open class, and there's no sweepstakes points awarded like there may be during the regular season, but they are divided up into districts, similar to the athletic activities. And so we compete at districts, and the top 4 from each district advance to the state tournament.
I think I left out the theater part when I was talking about the speech, debate, and theater competition this weekend. Tell us about some of the performances and all the work that these kids do, because I know it's certainly here in my job, we talk a lot about, sports and the high school athletics, but these kids put a lot of time and a lot of effort in. And I mean, a lot of times you're getting up and you're by yourself. I mean, these are, sometimes these are solo acts that you're putting together. And I mean, you're front and center and you're exposed for everything. I mean, a kid can make an error at shortstop, or a kid can miss a free throw. But when you're in one of these competitions, though, you've got to be on and perfect.
Right, and it's funny, you use an example. You see a kid throwing a ball up against the wall, catching it, throwing it back. You have a sense of knowing what they're doing. You go to a speech tournament and walk down the hall and see 3 kids talking to lockers. You kind of worry about them. And so it's like, okay, are they really doing something, or do I need to call somebody else? What's going on here? Fortunately, I grew up in speech and debate, and having a father that coached it for over 30 years and being involved in this activity pretty much all my life. I know what I'm seeing, but it's a lot of fun to watch people that this may be their first competition, and watching all the other things that are going on, and people yelling at each other in the hallway. Well, no, they're actually practicing a scene. It's okay. We don't have to call security or anything, but no, it's a lot of fun. And there are some, amazingly talented students that compete in these wide-ranging events. We have 3 different types of debates going on. Lincoln Douglas is one-on-one debate where you talk about values and shoulds and shouts and those type of things. There's cross-examination or policy debate where 2 teams come up with a solution to a particular resolution, and it's the other team's responsibility to find out how many holes you have in your policy. And so it really promotes the thinking on your feet. Public forum is another one which kind of combines the 2 of those. And so that's kind of a town hall type meeting where there's a lot of back and forth between the 2 teams. We have extemporaneous speaking, where we have a domestic division and an international division, where you're given a choice of 7 questions, and then you have 30 minutes to prepare a 7-minute speech on this question that you have to answer and provide points and contentions on to support your your answer to the question. So it's a lot of fun. Then there's the also the acting events. Humorous interp is a popular one. Dramatic interp, where you have different characters and things like that. Those are the ones that you actually see people talking to the lockers the most in, are those events. But we also have one act play contests where schools perform, have a certain amount of time to perform a one act play, and I think that may have been our most popular this year, because we had a young man from Maryville who actually did a one-man show this year. And so it was just him on stage having, I believe he had 9 different characters that he had to perform, and had a set and costumes and everything like that. So it may have been the first time that a 4th place winner got a standing ovation at the award ceremony, but it was really neat to see him and how he did as well as he did.
Now, I'm sure the other kids did great, but how does somebody like that finish in 4th place? This kid's going to grow up when he's going to be famous, and he's going to be on some talk show like Jimmy Fallon or something. He's going to say, yeah, my, speech, debate, and theater competition, when I was in high school, I finished in 4th, and, he's going to be some big famous star.
Well, Robert Sudhoff, remember that name. You knew him when he finished 4th at the Missouri State High School Activities Association tournament.
And, a lot of times, take you, for example. This is something that you did in high school, and now you're the communications director for MSHSAA. These are things that kids can, just public speaking and being able to talk in front of large crowds. As you get into the business world and you get through college, and, you're sitting maybe at a board meeting or a staff meeting. These are things and life lessons and that they'll be able to take with them for the rest of their life.
It really is the critical thinking and being able to think on your feet, and really what it does. People hate to ask me to make a decision because of my debate background. Now I see both sides of almost every issue, and so being able to see the bigger picture of things, and then being able to talk about that and help explain different situations really carries on just past high school, like you said, in college and the courses you take there, and then as well in your professional life.
Well, I think it's great that these kids have this opportunity. Now we get this weekend to the biggest event that you guys oversee, and that's the MSHSAA Music Festival, April 30th to May 2nd. Talk about how many kids and how many performers will be up in Columbia this weekend.
This really is the largest as far as number of participants go in one venue, the largest that we go through, having close to 10,000 different students involved over the 3-day event. This year we've actually set our own record of number of events coming to state for the 3 days. I believe it's just over 5,100 this year. So it's talk about controlled chaos. But hopefully if the weather holds out, it's going to be a lot more fun than having when it's raining and people are cooped up inside. But it really is a festival atmosphere when everybody can be outside and enjoying their time in between performances.
Now, this is also open to the public. Is that right?
It is. We have, depending on the day, 40 different rooms going at the same time, and it starts at 8 o'clock in the morning, goes through till just before 5 o'clock, and it really literally every 5 minutes there's someone performing in that room their piece of music. And so anyone can come. There's no admission. Do obviously ask for some decorum when listening and entering and exiting rooms, but it is open to anyone that would like to come and take part of it.
Is that information on MSHSAA's website?
It is on the music page. We have a lot of information about the state festival and what buildings we're going to be in and parking instructions and things like that.
All right, and we'll link to that too at MissouriNet.com. I wanted to ask you, is this something that whether it's the speech, debate, and theater competition or the music festival, are these things that these kids that are participating in these events, can they put these things on college applications? How does that look to colleges as they're applying?
I think it really helps with the well-roundedness that colleges are looking for. Even going after athletic scholarships, the universities and colleges that are recruiting students look at all of the things that you're involved in. And just to be a baseball player, but not just to be a baseball player, but I'm also a saxophonist, or I also play the piano. I also play the guitar. I was also a state qualifier debater. They look at all those different things that, are you just going to school and cracking open the books, or are you involved in other extracurricular activities? And it may not just be the MSHSAA extracurricular activities either. There's FBLA and DECA and all those other student organizations out there that really do a lot of good things and help prepare students, not just for college, but like we talked about earlier, the professional life afterward.
And the ability to time manage stuff through school. I mean, both of my kids, and I have no musical talent whatsoever. So when I watch them perform, it's amazing to me. But they both play in a sport, and they're both involved in their marching band. They both work on their instruments. They mentor other students. So, I mean, it just helps make a student well-rounded. And it'll be a great opportunity if you want to go and check these kids out. And kind of going back to that sports analogy, you can have errors in a game, and, a good baseball hitter or softball hitter might hit 300, 400 in high school. But you've got to hit 100% of your notes, because if you don't, oh boy, I mean, you stick out.
Oh, yeah. And my band director in junior high also told me never to tell anyone he was my band director. So that talks to my music abilities. But and also, even we talk a lot in sports too, that the sports teaches you humility and being humble, but that also comes through in the activities as well. We'll have situations that arise where someone in speech may have used a piece of evidence that is an illegal piece of evidence or against the rules. Or at music, one thing that we do, we have commemorative medals. If you get a 1, you can get a blue medal, or if you get a 2, you can get a red medal. And that's one of my responsibilities, since, like I said, of my music talents are lacking. So I get to sell medals at the music festival. And they're just commemorative medals, and they come up, I would like a 1 medal. Okay, here you go. And we have the transaction. They don't have to show us anything or anything like that. And we had one young man come up, and he was looking at our medals, and his mom was there, and she was very excited. And this was one of the first times she had actually got to see him compete at the festival level. And they're looking at the medals, and he's like, I would like a 2 medal. Well, 2 medal is red. And mom, in her, wanting to help her son out, says, well, wouldn't you rather have a blue medal? And he said, yes, Mom, I would rather have a blue medal. And she goes, well, it would go better with your letter jacket. He says, I know, but I earned a 2. So I get a red medal. So, even faced with the spot of, well, I can just tell them I got a 1 and they'll give me a blue one that matches my jacket better. The honesty that he showed and having to help his mom in the situation, that says a lot for where that kid's at.
Absolutely. Great story. All right. So the music festival this weekend, we'll have links to MSHSAA's website so you can get information if you want to go and check this out. All right. So I thought, hey, let's wrap this up with some musical jokes. All right. Let me run these past you. Let me know what you think about this. How do you know when a singer is at the front door? He can't find the key, and he doesn't know when to come in. What's the difference between a clarinet and an onion? Nope. Nobody cries when you chop the clarinet into little pieces. And what do you call someone who hangs around with musicians?
What?
A drummer. Oh, there we go.
There we go. That's it.
That was terrible.
That's the reason I'm out here.
I'll post those jokes too at MissouriNet.com. Jason West, thanks for your visit this week, and good luck with the music festival. Lots of kids, lots of musicians, and hopefully you as the public get a chance to go out there and check that out. We'll talk with you next week and see how this goes.
Sounds great. We'll see if we can come up with some better jokes.
Yeah, I hope so. Thanks, Jason. I'm Bill Pollack. Thanks for watching us here at Missouri Net.